this was not an isolated case. Bi penguins have been stirring things up for over a century. The very first record of same-sex sexual behavior in penguins was in 1911, when explorer George Murray Levick discovered depraved behavior in wild Adeles. More recently, in 2004, a pair of male chinstrap penguins at the Central Park Zoo in New York City bonded and raised a chick from an egg they'd been given to foster, inspiring the picture book And Tango Makes Three. Even more recently, penguin behavior sounded like it was ripped straight from a celebrity gossip site when it emerged that a gay couple of penguins stole an egg from a straight couple at a Dutch zoo, and then proceeded to steal an egg from a lesbian couple the very next year. Note: in the rest of this book, I avoid using gay or lesbian to describe same-sex sexual behavior in animals, as these terms have a whole host of connotations in humans that don't apply to the animal world. I've used the words here and elsewhere only when appropriate to convey how they were described in the press. For more discussion of sexual orientation in animals, see Chapter 4. It's not just penguins. A recent article in Scientific American notes substantiated, evidence-confirmed findings of same-sex sexual behavior in over 1,500 animal species. These aren't rare anomalies. An explosion of research over the last 20 years has shown significant amounts of same-sex sexual behavior throughout the animal kingdom. The real number of species involved is surely much higher, as studies setting out to catalog homosexual behavior in the animal world are still rare. I really wish I'd had any inkling of all this queer behavior in nature when I was young. I was around age 11 when I started lingering over the Fruit of the Loom ads in my brother's Rolling Stone and realized I was attracted to other guys. An impossible thing had happened. Up until then, I'd just been me. But now I was gay. To make matters worse, everything I'd ever heard indicated that gay was a horrible and unnatural thing to be. How could my internal life give me such a bummer of a plot twist? There had to be some explanation. So I looked up homosexuality in every encyclopedia I could get my hands on. My findings were depressing. Some sources told me that homosexuality was a psychological disorder unique to humans, an illness that came to those with bad genes or who had grown up with too much attachment to their mother or father, or maybe too little. No one seemed to agree. Everywhere I looked, unnatural was the word that came up again and again. The stakes of being unnatural were high. As I was starting college, a freshman in Wyoming, Matthew Shepard, was beaten, tortured, tied to a barbed wire fence, and left to die because his killers hated his being gay. That was only the most famous case of the hundreds of people killed each year for being queer, with Black trans women making up a disproportionate number of cases. So what is natural? Many of us were brought up with the Noah's Ark version of life, which tells us that the proper order of things is a bonded male-female pair for every species on Earth. Darwin's theory of natural selection only seems to confirm it. By his logic, only heterosexual pairings allow for the successful propagation of genes, making them the primary driver of evolution. If natural selection is working properly, the argument goes, homosexual desire shouldn't happen. Any sexual act that doesn't produce offspring doesn't help an animal get more of its genes into the next generation, and so is some kind of error. These assumptions about the normalcy and biological fitness of only male-female pairings are perfectly reasonable. But what if they're also wrong? It's been an important 20 years for the field of zoology. In 1999, researcher Bruce Bagamiel released his exhaustive, meticulously researched Biological Exuberance, Animal Homosexuality and Natural Diversity. And over the years...